Raft stood on the hardwood deck as waves crashed onto the rocks down below. The city of Totem's Rest, a thick line in the distance over the lake. His sturdy knee-leather boots, with tucked-in trousers, a thick, long coat, buttoned neatly yet functionally at his chest. Dark forest green was the color, with black buttons. He wore a field hat, which had a bill that wrapped his head, meant to keep rain from hitting the top of the coat. It was a field officer's uniform. They had fancy shiny ones, and ones meant for these jungles. With light metal-plated armor underneath his coat, it poked out and would glisten if the sun ever hit it right. The sleeves were long and thick, tied at the wrists. Hand wrapped around the hilt of his sword, strapped to his waist. It was just a simple side sword, for quick responses in a tight pinch. For longer drawn-out conflicts, he'd unholster the large 6-foot blade he had strapped to his back. He called that great sword V, after Vanto. That night still haunted him from 5 years ago, wishing he could have done more, not being as prepared as he should have. Still costed him the life of his brother-in-law for not being faster, smarter. Maybe he shouldn't have recommended a hunt that night. He thought of Cal. I miss her. I could see her? But no, not now, he mumbled to himself. Footsteps passed beside him, shaking him out of his thoughts. He had began to rock, back and forth. Hopefully, no one would notice him, zoning out. The soldiers passing him were filing out of the boat and onto the sandy beach. Slowly, quietly. Everyone wore dark green and had special boots made from the finest cobbler in town, specifically designed to keep their footsteps from being heard. A soldier could run on the dock and you couldn't hear him, but you would notice the dock squeaking, and if there's a broken board of loose board, that would gain move and make noise. This was an operation that, after a year, they figured out, and after 2 years, they almost perfected it. What they were doing was needed, and Raft was in charge of the soldiers who were here every other day. Never 2 days in a row, doubling the workload would double the chances of a conflict. Cal was head of the fighting. Raft was head of security, which is why all these soldiers were here, security. The dock was once a simple dock where many ships would rest and transport the goods. Now, it had been doubled in size, reinforced with steps and walls that lead straight to the rocks and sand. The idea that nothing could crawl out from under the dock, almost like trapping the lake in this one little section of land. The dock was large enough to fit 10 large vessels along it, with crews of up to 50 men, though a skeleton crew on those vessels were manned during these missions, less likely to cause noise or issue. Plus, you don't need the deck cleaned or shifts to be taken to sail a trip that barely took an hour. One boat was Raft's boat. It held a skeleton crew, but its cargo was soldiers, quiet soldiers.